Yo, what's up? Sebastian Pearson here, and today I'm gonna answer a few of Adam Toll's questions. First of all, regarding what is the difference between a ketogenic diet and a primal pattern type diet, and which one of those is the best one. And this is a really simple question. The primal pattern diet is better because it is more natural. It basically just tells you to eat whatever you feel like eating and whatever your body needs based on the symptoms you're getting from the foods you're eating. And I do believe the difference usually between a primal pattern type diet and a ketogenic diet is that a primal pattern type diet allows for all the macros, while a ketogenic diet only allows for proteins and fats. And I am a firm believer that you should eat just the way you feel like eating, but I also am a firm believer that it is best to incorporate all the macros into your diet and not just eat fats and proteins or carbs and proteins. To eat all the three macros, in my opinion, has been the best way for me to get the maximum amount of vital energy inside me and make the most progress the most in physical training, and just generally progress the most in being able to go about life, because a lot of people doesn't realize that your body is breaking down protein and your body is active all day long. So it doesn't matter if you work out in the gym, you will still work out and you will still progress in the daily activities that you do. You might not realize it, but every time that you go to the bus in the morning, or you go for a walk, or you do the activities at your job, each and every day is a new workout for the body, and each and every day you should strive to be, or not strive, but the body should become more adapted. And if you're a healthy guy, it should not take very long for you to get used to your job. Basically, you're probably wondering how you can get better at your job when you're already doing what is needed of you, and I'm answering that by saying that you can get better at your job by becoming more meditative at work, by having an easier time to do all the movements that you're required to do, and by being happier, breathing better, and just generally having it a lot easier than you're having before. And it sounds weird in today's society. We want everything to be hard, and if it isn't hard, it isn't good. But the truth of the matter is that when you're a super healthy guy, a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, which I am definitely not, then everything becomes easy, and everything becomes, you gain a lot from all the activities that you do. So you recover super fast, and it's easy for you, and you gain a lot from it, and you will be a lot better next time. And I'm going to make another video about my own journey and some things that I think is relevant when you make your opinion about me and who I am and how far I've gotten in terms of my physicality and stuff. But for now, let's go back to a ketogenic diet and a primal pattern type diet, and why I think that you should have carbohydrates, fats and proteins in your diet in most cases. But it is up to you. If you still feel like carbohydrates make you feel like shit, Adam, and that you get parasite infection and fungal infection, and your gut starts to grow, and you start to get dandruff and it disrupts your digestion, then you have too severe of a parasite and fungal infection, and you should not eat carbs. But as soon as your body becomes strong enough, you should incorporate some levels of carbs back into your diet. And here's why. It is because the brain, it is really effective to give the brain some sugar every now and then, instead of the body transforming fats and proteins into sugar and then giving it to your brain. I don't recommend using carbohydrate as your bodily source of fuel. I believe that you should use fats and proteins as your bodily source of fuel for your physical endeavors, but I believe that the brain needs carbohydrates, and there are two major like sources that I use in my argument when I argument about this. And the first one is that the best bodybuilders, right, were in Arnold and Frankel's era, or maybe earlier and a little bit later, and they were so much better compared to today's bodybuilders, compared to how much steroids they were taking, because first of all, they were not third generation or fourth generation into the generation. They were probably just one or maybe one generation into generation, or they were the first in their lineage to be degenerated, but obviously they were not. But today's people, you have to keep in mind, you're probably third generation degenerative, meaning that your parents were eating shitty foods and became degenerated and not fully functional, and your parents before your parents were degenerated, and so you have really shitty juice in you, and you might even have really shitty structure. Me, for example, I have really good structure. I have strong bones, I have straight teeth, I have like good hair, and all the structure of my body is good, the blueprint of my body is good, but I have not had a lot of vital energy in me, because my parents did not have a lot of vital energy, although they had really good structure. So that is one way you can be degenerated in vital energy, and you can be degenerated also in structure. And I know people that have really good juice and stuff, but they have really good bad structure, and they have uneven teeth, and they're not symmetrical, but they're strong and they're vital and they can do things. But anyway, Arnold and Franco and their friends were not probably one generation, or they were probably had not been exposed to much generation at all, and not even their parents, and they were eating high quality foods, because at that time of Franco and Arnold, the food, even though probably chemicals had started to be induced into the foods, it was not to any serious degree. So anything you ate back in the 70s, for example, still had a good amount of nutrition in it, even McDonald's. So that's why generally when you look back to the 70s, you see people are much more developed, not so much muscularly, but their ligaments and the structure and their posture, they were taller, and then they were just a lot more developed than people generally are today. But Arnold and Franco noticed that, or not noticed, but some of their friends in their group, they jumped off carbohydrates because they believed it was not good. And Arnold and Franco tried the same thing, but they realized that it was too catabolic, because their brains could not function properly, leading them to be stressed out and also having bad workouts, because all the workouts you do requires cognitive function, it requires nervous system activation, it requires your brain to be on point as well as your body. So if you have low blood sugar and brain problems when you work out, it will not work for you. So that is one reason why I believe that, one of my sources, I believe that carbohydrates are necessary, except for my own personal experience, of course, which is the major factor in this, of course. And the second one is that Dr. Weston A. Price over and over again saw that the tribes and the people that ate carbohydrates, fats and proteins had by far the best characters, because he measured characters. He did not just measure physiques, because you can have a really good physique, but you can have a really shitty and undeveloped personality, and just generally not have developed a mind or an attitude about life. And he realized that the people eating carbohydrates, fats and proteins were the healthiest. So that concludes the video on which diet is best, a ketogenic diet or a primal pattern type diet. My answer is that you should be on a primal pattern type diet, of course. If it leads you to the ketogenic diet is right. If it leads to something else, that is right. But I also encourage you to slowly incorporate some carbohydrates into your food. Make it easily digested carbohydrates. I don't like carbohydrates to eat a lot of fiber. Personally, just because I feel that fiber is not natural for me to eat. I prefer to eat sugar, just like berries and stuff. Like parasites and fungi, or parasites use fibers to build their nests in the digestive tract, so that can be a problem. But fungi likes sugar a lot, so that can also be a problem. You have to experiment which carbohydrates works for you. Me personally, I eat fruit, oatmeal, honey, yogurt. I sometimes eat whole rice pasta, and I used to eat white rice, but I quit because it drained me of all my vitamins, I realized, and it took me a while to restore all those vitamins. So yeah, that's it. I hope this helps. Peace.